issue that you mentioned, about the leadership of the Palestinians, I see that as well in Kashmir too, because there was a news article that was talking about what are the families of these Kashmiri separatist leaders up to. And if you look at all these big Kashmiri separatist leaders' families, all of their kids are studying abroad in Australia, in Canada, in America. They're working in multinational companies all across the world, while the ordinary people of Kashmir that are spellbound by these separatist leaders, they're the ones carrying out suicide bomb attacks. They're the ones trying to, shoot down, gun down security forces and getting killed by those security forces. So you have these rich separatist leaders who are living their best lives, whose kids are enjoying their lives outside of India, while the poor people, they are the ones being used as cannon fodder for the cause.
This is just ridiculous that this is what we are seeing. And what really shook me with when I watched Kashmir Files, usually I don't watch, other than Bollywood movies because they're long. Usually I can't sit for hours and watch a movie, but with the Kashmir Files, it was 3 hours and I didn't notice that the time was passing because I was in a roller coaster of emotions. Seeing how people that, hey, I never visit yet. I didn't go to India. I didn't go to Kashmir, but seeing all these stories, I felt like these Hindus are my brothers and sisters. Like this could be my mother. This could be my sister. And it really broke my heart because as I've said, previously in my videos that, in the same way that Kashmiri Hindus are being massacred by radicals there, it reminded me of how Jews were massacred by the Nazis. Really.
Yeah, and it's essentially, you see your neighbor turn on you. You see someone that you've known for like 20, 30 years, and you consider them as a friend, as a family friend, as a part of your family. But that suddenly an ideology overnight basically turns these people into somebody that wants to kill you. And it's a very harrowing thought. And the sad thing about Kashmir is that currently, because of the situation with terrorism there, it's a situation that a lot of Kashmiri Hindus still don't feel safe in going back. And there's a lot of people that have talked about finding a solution to this problem. How do we solve this problem? How do we get many Muslim leaders have also said that we want to get our Kashmiri Hindu brothers and sisters back in Kashmir. But that's just not going to happen. Only a couple of days ago, you saw another Kashmiri Hindu that was gunned down by a Islamic terrorist. So that's not an option right now. And I feel like the only option to resettle the Kashmiri Hindus is going to have to be similar to what Israel has done in terms of building these like stable, secure settlements where people genuinely feel safe, not just just go there and settle down.
Absolutely. And I am sure that when obviously when the Hindus were kicked out of Kashmir and they had the exodus, so these radicals, they took over their homes, they took over their property. And when these people, the rightful owners, want to return home, I'm sure that the media would film it and would say, aggressive Hindus are taking over homes of poor people that just a few years back gunned them down, massacred them, and chanted these slogans that you yourself said. And we in Israel, we also had it last year during we had the Guardian of Walls operation in Gaza, and you had radical Muslim Arabs who live in mixed cities here in Israel. They turned on their neighbors and they told the radicals, I had flashbacks because it just reminded me, with the Kashmir Files, that they were pointing. They said, hey, I have a Jewish neighbor that lives there. And they went up, knocked on their doors. They tried to burn the apartments and lynching people. So, it's like what I'm telling you. It's like what's happening in Kashmir also.
Yeah.
And people don't care about it. This is what like really makes me angry, that the world is not talking about it enough.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think the world doesn't talk about issues like this? What happened in Kashmir and what's the situation with Israel currently? They don't portray it accurately. Do you think it's because A, they just don't have enough knowledge about it, or do you think B is that there's some sort of bias, there's some sort of agenda? I know what the answer is for India, but what do you think the answer is for Israel?
I would say B,
Hmm.
because first of all, this is probably the correct answer for India as well, that there
Yeah.
is some sort of bias against India. And we all know that India and Israel, they share same similarities, same mission, and same problems, but
Yeah.
also same advantages. So I think that yes, there is some sort of bias that I have also came to realize this, because I met with several politicians around the world, and I would tell them the truth, the story of Israel, and they understood it. They
Hmm.
perfectly knew the truth, and yet they spoke against my country, because they know that speaking against Israel, in the same way speaking against India, and siding with the radicals, gives them ratings, and the
Hmm.
liberals love it, and it gives you points.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, I was just saying that this is really the reality that's undergoing over there. That I was also shocked, because my friend Vivek, who also introduced me to the Kashmir Files, I felt a big honor that he sent out a tweet and tweeted at me saying, "Hey, Hananya, your video, the Kashmir Files, it's coming to Israel. You can watch it." So I was one of the first ones to go and watch it,
Oh wow.
together with other Israelis. And yeah, so I have to say that the Kashmir Files, it's really, I would say, the most important movie of the century,
Yeah.
of the decade. Sorry, because people need to hear about this. It's the genocide least spoken about.
Yeah. 100%. What was the reaction of the other Israelis that you watched the film with? What did they have to say about it?
I heard in the back people. I was in the front,
Right.
so I heard people behind me talking, and some guy said to his wife, saying, in the last scene. I don't know if we want to give spoilers to people that didn't watch it, but in the last
Yeah,
scene,
if I just want to say, if you haven't watched it, any of my audience member haven't watched it, shame on you. You should have already watched it. The movie's been out for a month, so yeah, we're gonna give some spoilers.
oh yeah, yeah. So in the last scene where they shot people into
Yeah,
graves, the guy behind me was saying, "Oh my goodness, this is exactly what the Nazis did to our brothers and sisters." And
yeah,
some other people, I saw another couple that they were sobbing and they had tears in their eyes, and it just made us Israelis emotional. And there is already a very strong connection between Jews and Indians, Israelis and
mm,
Indians, because it's whether even putting politics aside, the I forgot the name of it, but there was trade between India and Israel
oh yeah,
centuries ago, and all the way to the Battle of Haifa,
yeah,
where cavalry brigade, brave Indian troops, saved the city of Haifa, saved Jews in
mm,
Haifa, and all the way to the Kargil War in 1999, where nobody wanted to help India. Israel was there.
yeah.
Israel provided with missiles, with technology, with everything that we could supply, and all the way to today. So the alliance
On
between,
top of that as well, the Jews have been living in India for what, close to almost 2,000 years now, and
with no
they're a
anti-Semitic,
well-to-do community. They're a successful community. They're a happy community.
yeah, and there's no anti-Semitism
Yeah.
in India. Jews were always safe there, and Jews are an integral part of the Indian society. And
Mm,
I have a lot of Indian Jewish friends who live in
mm,
Israel and live in India, and it's so cool to see that how they Indian Jews are just incredible because there is a mix in their culture, a mix between Judaism and the Indian culture. So they would wear saris,
Oh, wow.
or some special kind of Indian dress when there's special celebrations.